happy Monday to you. You've got an emergency on your hands.
Emergency, it's a Monday.
This is No Ducks, presented by FanDuel. I'm Taz Mellis. With me, it's the man in the middle, Trey Kirby.
Ayo.
Ayo. And the man who's always making the magic happen. Whether it's an emergency or not, it's JD.
It may not be an emergency, but it feels urgent.
It does.
It does feel urgent.
Urgent podcast for sure. Yep.
That's a fantastic segue right there, JD. We've got lots of stuff coming up. Is it an emergency? Is it urgent? That we
We got to get this in. The season's starting in 3 months, Tess. Hurry up.
We've got to rank every single team in the power rankings right now. That's part of it. Not all 30. We're not doing all 30.
I was like, uh-oh. A new emergency has struck the classic factory. I only got 5 teams prepped.
We'll get to that. We'll get to some minor transactions. But first, I want to ask you, Trey, over the weekend, did you see Kerry Wood's trick pitch?
V. Kerry Wood?
Yeah.
20K carry?
In Wrigley Field.
Wow, okay.
He's back, baby, as a member of the Savannah Bananas.
Seriously?
For this one day in Chicago at Wrigley Field. Check it out. He literally did the behind the back from the mound.
Wow.
Threw it up there. As he's throwing it up, he fakes a pitch, and then it lands right in the catcher. Yeah.
This is great.
It's a nice play.
Yeah, you were saying it like literally as Kerry Wood was doing it here as I'm watching. This is incredible. This is his first time on the mound at Wrigley in 14 years.
Exactly.
I've never seen something like that.
That is pretty sweet.
That's pretty
Behind
sweet.
the back, right to the catcher. Now, did the umpire give it the call no matter what? Sure, it was probably a little high, if I'm being technical. But it's the Savannah Bananas. That's pretty freaking cool.
You think the other guy should have like tapped his helmet
Yeah.
and asked for a replay on that pitch from Kerry Wood?
Come on, man. That was nice.
That was nice.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, they literally turned on Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout game when he was in the middle of it to let us watch it during class.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's how much our school cared about academics. Sports, though, they really cared.
All right. Baseball talk done. Let's get to some more LeBron thoughts, because as we saw that emergency podcast animation off the top, that was stemming from our show that we did on Friday, right after we did our first show. LeBron signed with the Sixers, so we did that. But now we've had a couple nights to think about things. We've got 5 questions to answer here, Trey, about LeBron going to Philadelphia 76ers. The first one, what's the offense going to look like in Philly with Bron and all those big name players?
Call me crazy, Tass, but I think if you've got 4 Hall of Famers in the starting lineup alongside a guard in VJ Edgecombe, who's probably going to be an all-star at some point in his career, I think their offense is going to be good. I'm going out on a limb. I think their offense is going to be solid. When I look at this Sixers squad that they've built so far, first thing that sticks out to me is how good they're going to be in transition. Maxey, VJ, Jalen, LeBron, those 4 guys are 4 of the best transition players in the NBA. Does that mean they're leaving Joel Embiid in the dust? He gets the rebound, passes it ahead, and everybody else is off to the races? Maybe it does. I don't know. Last season, Philadelphia was 14th in transition frequency, right in the middle of the league. I think they should be way higher. All of those guys, all of their perimeter players at least, want to get out and run, and I think that's just an easy way for them to score. I think VJ Edgecombe is going to look awesome playing alongside LeBron. He's a cutter. He's running the court. Like, this is going to be a guy who's catching a lot of alley-oops from LeBron. The half court is where there's definitely more question marks, just because there's only one basketball, and you saw a lot of calculations of usage percentage going around over the weekend, maybe some on-ball percentage as well. All 5 of the starters like to have the ball in their hands. Not everybody's going to be able to do it. That's okay. Tyrese Maxey, awesome off-ball player. Probably better than he is as an on-ball player, and he's still a good on-ball player, so I think that's good for him. He's a good catch-and-shoot three-point shooter. That's helpful. Like I said, I think VJ should thrive next to LeBron with the way he cuts and just kind of gets in where he fits in. You can easily imagine in your mind 2-man games with LeBron and Maxey, LeBron and VJ, LeBron and Embiid. There is, curiously, one name I haven't really mentioned so far, and that's Jaylen Brown. I don't totally know how he fits on this team. Maybe he's just the guy who is a bailout, 5 seconds left in the clock, get us a tough shot and hit 50% of them, something like that. But the questions for me are going to be, what did Jalen and what did Joel Embiid do in the half court?
Yeah, totally fair. First, I got to get back to you saying 4 Hall of Famers. That's interesting. LeBron, obviously. Jaylen Brown, yeah. Joel Embiid is going to be there.
MVP.
Maxi's the question. Even though Embiid will be a question for some people. At this point, hasn't reached the conference finals.
Very true.
13,000 career points. Not a lot.
All right, I'll rewind it. Four all NBA players in the starting lineup.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, Maxi, yeah, that's the biggest question. Maxi with LeBron, not a question. He is going to be so good with LeBron as the fulcrum at times. I'm just envisioning LeBron in that mid-range, getting the ball like he did with the Lakers, whipping it across to the opposite corners for threes or for alley-oops or strictly to anybody, really. Or he's up top, sort of like Cat was in the playoffs, whether it's Tyrese Maxey coming around, giving him the ball like Dwayne Wade did back in the Miami Heat days, just getting downhill. I do think if you want to make the Cat comparisons, because you do see all these usage percentages and all that. Cat in the playoffs, the usage percentage went way down because he allowed other guys to make things happen, and all those usage percentage things, they make sense when all four guys are on the floor, but Embiid's not going to be on the floor a lot of the time. Like the usage percentages don't come down because a guy leaves the floor. They don't calculate games missed in the usage percentage. So that's the beauty, I think. LeBron can say, I'm taking 25 games off, along with Embiid, who's definitely going to take off a lot of games to allow Maxey and Jaylen Brown to play. And I think that's part of why LeBron picked this team. Mm-hmm. He knows Brown and Maxey are going to play a ton. But the other guy, that Embiid question is a fair question. But yeah, that's we'll get to Embiid a little bit deeper. But yeah, the half-court offense, I think we will see LeBron as the linchpin at times. Here you go, man.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
He'll be whipping balls like he's Jokic across the floor, handoffs, all sorts of things.
Yeah, LeBron is obviously their highest field player. He's their best passer as well. So it'll be interesting to see how Nick Nurse crafts an offense around a guy with talents like LeBron, because for the most part, Nick Nurse's offense haven't been like free-flowing, everybody gets involved kind of offenses, and that'll be somewhere that the Sixers need to grow. But having those five guys in the starting lineup who are all capable scorers, like, it's not going to happen just because of the way point totals go, but like all of those guys in the Philly starting lineup could be 20 point per game plus scorers for sure, yeah. I think. But with the way they're going to be able to stagger minutes, there's lots of opportunity for everybody. Like you're saying, if LeBron is resting, if Embiid is resting, there's lots of chances for the other three guys to scale up their usage, their on-ball percentage when they need it. But I do think there are going to be times when Jaylen Brown and Joel Embiid are both kind of marginalized more than they're expecting to be at this point in their career. But I also think, I'm getting ahead of this one, I think 2 months into the season, you're going to hear this take. 76ers look better when Joel Embiid is on the bench. I'm imagining an Adembona probably being their starting center, and all he's going to do is set screens and roll to the rim. He's not going to be taking up a huge percentage of possessions. He's not going to need the ball in his hands. The team is going to look so much faster that they're going to look awesome when Bona is in the lineup for this team. And at times it's going to look clunky with Embiid. It's just gonna. That's the style of player he is at this point. I think they'll be better with Embiid, but I think at times they'll look better with other guys.
That's a fair point. And that's why I'll segue to the second question here, because I think that's where Joel Embiid's importance will be the largest, the defensive side. What are they going to look like on defense, Trey?
Yeah, I think that's a tougher part. Like, the offense, I think, will get figured out just because these guys are so talented and multifaceted in the ways they can score and create for others. But figuring out a good defense with an old LeBron, a slow Embiid, and realistically two small guards in Maxey and VJ, I think that's going to be tough. But Nick Nurse is a very creative coach. We saw him bring all these janky defenses back in the 2019 finals, and since then he's kind of had a little feather in his cap as a guy who can scheme some things up. Embiid's still massive. He's still a good rim protector. When he's moving at his best, he can still be a good rebounder. I think they'll be a better rebounding team this season than they were last season. But to me, the best defense for Philadelphia is going to be forcing turnovers. Maxey, VJ, Jaylen, and LeBron, all top 100 in steal percentage last year. To me, Philadelphia needs to be a turnover team where they're taking the ball from the other team, instantly going the other way on offense. Their best defense is kind of going to be scoring a ton of points. I think they end up at the best, like 12 to 15th on defense. But if you've got a top 5 offense, that's still on the verges of being an elite team.
I do think it is important for those other guys in terms of the bigs to play a ton and allow Joel Embiid just to be fresh enough for the postseason to make a run. And I'm referring to Dominic Barlow, Adam Bona, and Ariel Hukporti. Those guys are going to have to play a ton. Yep. And I think if there's any situation, I know it's easy to say this now, looking back at his career because he's 32 and he's been injured a ton. But if there's any situation where Joel Embiid can say, I don't got to play in the regular season at all, man. I just got to be healthy for the playoffs. It's this one. You're playing with LeBron James. And it's not just the name, but you've been there together. You're old. You're at a point where you just literally have to be able to run up and down the floor and let the other guys handle the offense, which is it's difficult to say that about a former MVP. And can he say that to himself? Like, really? I can just stand there and be a catch and shoot guy on offense at times, not just from the 3-point line, but from the mid range where it doesn't have to run through me, where you allow Maxey and Jaylen Brown primarily to create. And this is the summer, so it's full of optimism. But I do think if there's anyone in the NBA who can make a former MVP take a seat back, it is LeBron at this point. Especially because where Joel Embiid is here, and he could barely get up and down the floor in last year's playoffs. So I think we're going to see a lot of him just hopefully being able to, for the Sixers' sake, just be able to run as hard on defense as possible, because there were great possessions last year, and not do it on offense as much so he can do it on defense, where he's going to be asked to do a lot.
That's a huge ask for Joel Embiid. I think he took a backseat to Maxey last season, at least from a leadership standpoint, and the in and out nature of his season meant that Maxey had to be the number one guy, even when Embiid was back. But as we saw in the playoffs, especially when they brought him back for Game 4 against the Celtics, it threw the Sixers off because they had to play Embiid style. So now if you're telling me we're going to be resting this guy for 40 games during the season, when he comes back, all he's doing is taking catch and shoot jumpers and playing defense, that's not the Joel Embiid I know.
No.
And I don't think he would be happy being that Joel Embiid either. So that's a huge question, is how Embiid deals with two new guys coming ahead. I don't know if they're ahead of him in the pecking order, if they're right next to him in the pecking order, if the pecking order is just 4 guys and VJ Edgecombe hanging out, whatever it is. You need Embiid out there. Like, I want to rest him as well. I want him to be as healthy as possible for the playoffs, but this is a brand new team, a lot of new pieces coming in. You got to build some sort of chemistry, some sort of continuity going into the biggest games of the year. You can't just rest Embiid until March and then assume you're going to have a playoff level defense.
No, it's a fair question. It's these egos coming into one locker room. It's a heck of a lot to ask of Joel Embiid, who, as you said, was the secondary option for Tyrese Maxey. He was, and that's totally fine. But when he does get out there, and it's for less than half the regular season, the last 3 years, he has been a big focus. That's who he is, and so this is going to be a huge ask. Literally, I do have flashbacks of those 2019 playoffs you mentioned. Nick Nurse running offenses out there for the Toronto Raptors, or defenses, and I have flashbacks of Joel Embiid in that second round series against the Toronto Raptors, where he was just running up and down the floor. He was banged up then. He was allowing Jimmy Butler to be him and everybody else to make things happen around him. He's got to get there to play 4 playoff series. If that's the ask, that's what he's got to be able to do. On Friday's first podcast, I said this is the best chance for Joel Embiid, and kind of the final chance, really, for him to win a title. Here comes LeBron. It's even emphasized or multiplied, tenfold with Definitely. LeBron there. So this is exciting stuff for both these dudes. All right, third question of 5 here. Sticking with Joel Embiid, do you think he'll be traded? The rumors are hot over the last few days about Joel Embiid being moved.
Yeah, I would say that the rumors of Joel Embiid being moved happened almost as soon as the ink dried on LeBron choosing the Sixers, because the money works straight up for Anthony Davis. I think were the trade to go down, Embiid going to Washington, AD coming to Philadelphia, the picks would have to be going Washington's way, I guess. I mean,
for sure.
It's crazy, though. Embiid is 32 years old. He's got $58 million on his contract this year, followed by $62 and $67. Anthony Davis, 33 years old. He's got $54 million this year, followed by $58 and $63. You know, pretty much the same age, pretty much the same contract. But Anthony Davis looks like an Iron Man compared to Joel Embiid. 76, 51 in only 20 games last season, but Embiid is going 39, 19, and 38. I guess AD is a little bit more reliable than than Joel Embiid. I think that the fit with Anthony Davis makes a little bit more sense than it would with Joel Embiid, just because Davis is more inclined to set a screen and roll to the hoop. Embiid wants to pick and pop, and I think that would be helpful for the Sixers to get a little bit more rim pressure with a guy like AD. I don't know, though. It's pretty risky. It feels like Joel Embiid was a part of getting LeBron to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
We know that LeBron and AD obviously have a relationship from their previous stop in LA, but LeBron and Joel Embiid have a relationship too. They won a gold medal together in 2024. It's not like they're just now meeting each other. So I don't know. I think I would rather have Anthony Davis on this team, but I don't think that the Sixers are going to do it.
Interesting. I would definitely rather have Anthony Davis than Joel Embiid, just because he does feel like more of an Iron Man that will play basketball. And as you said, just a better fit on the floor. I definitely hold my breath to say that Joel Embiid wouldn't do it. The Sixers wouldn't do it. I think they would. Because right now, Anthony Davis's contract is shorter. He plays more in the role with LeBron. He's done that role with LeBron. And so I think it is a better fit because it's just 1 year plus an option for Anthony Davis, while Embiid is 3 years guaranteed. I guess we'll see coming up August 6th if the Wizards do extend Anthony Davis and how that will dictate this trade possibility. Joel Embiid and that contract won't be traded. I highly, highly doubt it. The Wizards, it's a funny one to take on. The picks would have to be accompanied. Yeah,
yep.
That's the part of it. If you can get sold, you sign Trae Young there. You're basically saying these next couple of years are just years for our young guys to grow. And so you could bring in a guy who's there that's going to play far less than half the season. I find that hard to believe. It's a hard sell, I think, for Wizards fans. It is.
I mean, they're already hitching their wagon to a guy who's injured all the time.
And Anthony Davis. But the funny thing is, I'm like, Anthony Davis is a better fit for the Wizards than he is for than Embiid would be for the Wizards as well. Like, I like Embiid, or I like Anthony Davis next to Trae Young more than I like Embiid next to Trae Young. They seem a little bit more complimentary, AD and Trae Young do. So, I don't know. Maybe this could happen next summer, though. Like, give it a shot with Embiid. See if he's healthy for 20 games at the end of the season, into the postseason, and go from there. But you're right. I mean, August 6th is the date. I guess we got to wait to see what's going down with Anthony Davis. But it feels like the Wizards want him to stay there. They did trade for him last year. Right.
He seems like part of their plan. I don't know if the Wizards are part of Anthony Davis's plan, but I guess we got, 10 days to figure that out.
Yeah, I saw a rumor out there that if the Raptors are able to execute the Kawhi Leonard trade, that they would add Joel Embiid as well, because they're sort of going for it. I find that one hard to believe. We'll get Skeet's opinion on that on Wednesday when he comes back to the show. I see people asking, where's Skeet's? Listen.
How would Embiid get to the Raptors?
Yeah, well, I guess if it's the Kawhi, I shouldn't say the trade executed. If the trade doesn't happen and they can just sign Kawhi, they can trade Brandon Ingram or something crazy. It would be a 3-team deal. So I can go.
That ain't happening.
No,
sorry, that's not happening.
It's all not happening.
No, that's your algorithm. It's still torn up. All this Toronto talk.
It's Raptors, Sixers, and Mavs. The Sixers getting P.J. Washington, Daniel Gafford, and Klay Thompson. The Mavs receiving Emmanuel Quickley, Jakob Poeltl, and Trace Jackson-Davis in a first-round pick. Yeah. Listen,
nope.
No.
Nope.
I find it hard to believe that Joel Embiid gets dealt.
Yeah.
At all.
Can't trust the process if there is no process.
Right on. Next next question here. What's the best case scenario for the Philadelphia 76ers overall?
The question is, can they win the title?
Yeah,
that is the best
fair.
case scenario. And yes, I do think Philadelphia could win the title this year. I think it's a long shot. Best case scenario for me, a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference for Philadelphia. Embiid plays 50 or more games. LeBron plays 60 or more games. I don't think this is a team that will be challenging for the best record in the Eastern Conference because I think a lot of the regular season will be spent experimenting with lineups and figuring out which of these duos make the most sense together, which of these duos should be dominating against second units, who's in, who's out. I think Nick Nurse is going to use the regular season to figure out how all of these new pieces best enhance each other. But if Embiid plays 50, LeBron plays 60, and they're healthy for the playoffs, and I think probably we need a favorable path in the playoffs, but that happens. I'm just thinking about the second round series last year against the Knicks, where Embiid was putting up some numbers offensively, but the guy was looking lost and targeted on the defensive end by the Knicks. Knicks are coming back with their same starting 5. They subbed in Andre Drummond for Mitchell Robinson. We have to imagine their whirling offense is going to look the same as it will, and they'll probably be better in the regular season next year, having figured out a new style of play with Karl Anthony Towns. So I'm a little nervous about the Knicks against the 76ers. Like, if I'm a Philly fan, I think that's a bad matchup for us just with the 5-out style that the Knicks play and making Embiid move all that much. But maybe another team takes care of the Knicks, and the Sixers don't even have to play them. I think Philadelphia could win the title this year. We'll get into the power rankings in a little bit here, but I don't know. I would give them like a 3 to 5% chance, maybe more once we see them actually play them.
Wow. Yeah, I would put it even a little higher than that. We'll get into the power rankings a little bit later. If they're able to execute this 3-team deal, as I just mentioned, and get some bigs instead of Embiid, get a Daniel Gafford in there.
Downgrade? You thinking downgrade would help him?
Well, you know what? Daniel Gafford's going to play basketball. I mean,
that's last year.
Well, that's the biggest question with Joel Embiid and this whole question about the playoffs and the postseason. Can he play one more time? But either way, I think, yes, you can look at the Eastern Conference and say the New York Knicks made it there last year. Again, another one of those teams that hadn't won, that didn't repeat. They're a 53-win team that got there. So not an overly dominating team in the regular season.
No.
So the Sixers could easily win 53 games. It's a very different Eastern Conference, but it feels wide open. It feels like the Knicks are the team to beat. We always respect the champs. But this team is the number 2 team right behind them in the Philadelphia 76ers. So I do think it's time to be. Obviously, it's the summer. We got to get excited. Yeah, they can do it. But I looking at it, I wouldn't rank them below any of those other sort of teams that we're questioning. I wouldn't rank them below the Celtics. I wouldn't rank them below the Raps. I wouldn't rank them below the Pistons. I think they have a legitimate shot here in this Eastern Conference. Part of LeBron's thinking. Yep. And not going up against OKC and San Antonio. So, that's the high end.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Sixers are the second best team in the Eastern Conference. And if they finish the playoffs as the second best team in the Eastern Conference, that means they made the conference finals, which would be the first time they've done so since 2021. Prior to that was 1985, and prior to that was 1983. So I think making a conference finals would be a massive win for Philadelphia.
Okay. Yeah, that's totally true.
Worst case?
Let's get to the worst case scenario. What is it?
I don't know. What do you think is worse? Your season is completely derailed by injuries, or you have a great season and then the postseason is derailed by injuries?
I say postseason.
I agree.
Yeah.
The East is going to be really competitive next year. I think you would throw out the Bulls, the Nets, and the Bucks as the only teams who are not expecting to win next year. 9 teams, I think, are coming into the season expecting to compete for a top 6 spot in the Eastern Conference. So if we get 20 games from Embiid, maybe LeBron finally looks washed. He only plays 40 games. Philadelphia could end up in the play-in. I think that's reasonable or a potential outcome. Like, I think that outcome is kind of right in line with them actually making it to the finals. Like, it could happen. It probably won't. But a worst case scenario to me would be like, we play great. Everything is clicking. Embiid is looking healthy. And then he gets elbowed in the face in game 1 of the playoffs, and suddenly he's out, and you're not a championship contender. So, I don't know. Injuries derailing this team are the worst case scenario whenever it happens.
If they end up in the play-in, it's a huge disappointment for this team that was good last year. This was a good team that struggled to get there at times without Joel Embiid, but they got there. A 45-win team. That's a solid number without Jaylen Brown. And so I think that's the biggest thing. And again, that's why LeBron picked this team. He knows Jaylen Brown's going to be out there playing. They had a team last year that had Paul George suspended for 25 games and be playing less than half the season. They got to a 45-win total. This was a solid team in the end, even though we all were skeptical. What is this team? But Maxey plays. Jaylen Brown plays, and they're super talented dudes. Jaylen Brown already playing with a lethal shooter out there. He's looking good.
I like that.
Yeah, he is. They're all looking good. Again, playing, that's a huge disappointment to me. Huge. But you're right in that the East is, man, I think it's more fun than the West right now with how many teams are legitimate outside those 3 that you named. Because, a lot of them are getting strong. Indiana's got to be way stronger. Orlando's got to have some more health, and they were actually decent last year. They got nothing to lose for. So, this is going to be a bloodbath. JD, can I ask you one quick question here before we move on to other minor transactions?
Sure.
I saw this comparison out there. I'll set it up, but basically is LeBron Odysseus? Because Katie Heindel wrote about it like this, because LeBron sent this as part of his tweet on Friday. He said, quote, "I've never been able to have no clue what to do and take real time to just think." Katie wrote, "How is that line not a colloquial translation of Odysseus himself staring out at the sea from one waylaid beach or another, rife with grief, but also tingling underneath it? Excitement."
Wow.
Like he's with Calypso out there waiting, figuring it out.
Look, is
I took a left turn.
I like it. I like it. I think for him to be Odysseus, he has to go to hell. He has to go to Hades. That's part of the hero's journey. Where would that have been so far? Is it Philadelphia? Who knows?
Exactly.
I don't think so, but
yeah, it's like he's not Odysseus until he makes it back to Cleveland, right? So what is the Philadelphia stop? Is it Hades? Is it between Charybdis and Scylla? Is that what it was? Dragon monster and hole in the ocean?
That's right.
I don't even remember the name, but it's the out west, wherever he's going.
The West.
Yeah,
right.
To end it, right?
Yeah.
Well, nobody got back home.
He got back home.
He got back home
to Ithaca.
He did.
That's Cleveland.
Yeah. So isn't Philly out west? Like after on the boat?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, this is my ending. I've done it all, and I killed everybody one more time.
Right.
I got back to Cleveland, but now I'm headed out west.
Okay.
With my Anne.
Sure.
Although he will be spending a lot of time in New York, not to get another city involved here, but he's going to spend a lot of time in New York.
Yeah, apparently he's going to live in New York.
Yeah.
And chop her into Philly.
Do the Chamberlain.
Wow.
Well, do the Wilt. I mean, he will, right? I guess.
I don't know. I heard he also joined a very prestigious golf club in Philadelphia.
Oh.
He'll probably have multiple locations he can live in.
LeBron will do that.
He can afford it, even though he's only making a measly $3.8 million this year.
All right, let's move on to some minor transactions that happened this weekend. Our old friend, Spencer Jones.
Our friend.
He's going back to the Denver Nuggets after OKC signed him to a 2-year, $12 million offer sheet. We're all wondering, what's going to happen here? Are the Nuggets going to match it? Because that gives them some issues financially. We had Spencer Jones. I don't know if you saw it. He reshared something on Instagram that had him in an OKC uniform.
Whoa.
While that was all happening, he posted on LinkedIn, this is what's happening. It was interesting, but then surprisingly, the Nuggets match. Trey, what do you think about this?
On his LinkedIn, does he have to list being employed by the Thunder for 2 days? He's like, I signed a contract. I was a Thunder for 2 days. It said Denver Nuggets 2026, Thunder 2026 to 2026, and now Denver Nuggets again. This was pretty spicy, right? Like, it definitely felt like the Thunder were putting the screws to the Nuggets, two teams that are like sort of in the same realm, at least. The Thunder are ahead of the Nuggets right now, but they're both contenders in the Western Conference. They're both butting up against the second apron. This does push the Nuggets into the second apron. I think they're the only team right now that is in the second apron.
Yeah.
And we've talked a lot this summer, and honestly, the past probably 3 summers, about the Nuggets being very careful with their payroll and slicing off salary basically whenever they did. So when the Thunder come in, offering this deal and signing Spencer Jones to an offer sheet that turns a $6 million contract for Spencer Jones into a $32 million luxury tax payment for the Nuggets, most people were thinking Spencer Jones is going to be gone. That would have been a big loss for Denver because he was 7th in minutes during the regular season. He was 5th in minutes during the postseason for Denver. He defends. He shot 40% from 3 last year. It looks funky, but it goes in. This was a player that the Nuggets absolutely could not lose. So I'm happy to see that they actually ponied up for it. Spencer Jones himself, he's not worth $32 million. But not losing Spencer Jones and your team being better, I think that is worth $32 million.
Totally. This is a team that has a lot of injuries. Top heavy, and the top doesn't always play. Not specifically Nikola Jokic, but moving down from Jamal Murray to Aaron Gordon to Christian Brown to Cam Johnson. Their top 5 is paid a lot, but it was surprising that they didn't match, even though they desperately need him because, well, a couple things. Some of those top-end contracts have not worked out. The Christian Brown 5-year for $125 million in some corners is basically untradeable. He's starting that 5-year contract this year. Yeah. Last year did not work out at all. The Cam Johnson one, also an interesting one in that I assume they just bring him back and hope that he can play more to his capabilities. And then there's a whole Peyton Watson factor, and that was a big factor as to why it looked like they're saying, okay, see, you need a 3-and-D shooter. Sam Presti, you really handcuffed us here. Take him. That's what it felt like because they got to pay Peyton Watson a ton. So in the end, are they going to pay this huge luxury tax fee, which could go up because I imagine they are going to bring Peyton Watson back because he is so young and so talented, while you have a guy like Aaron Gordon or the other couple guys I mentioned in Brown and Johnson that are getting old, especially Aaron Gordon. And I know you brought up Jamal Murray as a Jaylen Brown comparison with the Boston Celtics. Maybe we got to move on here. It was surprising. The Christian Brown contract is kind of, it's hovering over them. Even a cheap Zeke Naji one where he can't get off the bench at all. 4 years, 32 that they signed him to. He has 2 years left. So odd scenario. It feels like the Nuggets are a cheap franchise, and for this to come in and put them into the second apron was totally surprising. Again, as you said, right now they're the only team in the second apron.
Yeah, I guess the good news for Denver is that all that stuff isn't calculated until the end of the season.
Yeah.
They still got a chance to get under the apron by making trades. Like you said, Zeke Naji, $7.5 million this year, $7.5 million next year. I think it's going to cost Denver to get off his contract, and they don't even have very many second-round picks left over to be traded, so I don't know about that, but they can at least kick the tires on maybe a Jamal Murray trade. I think that's pretty unlikely, but you could see them explore it. Certainly Cam Johnson, I think they'll explore the trade market for him. Aaron Gordon, they got to look into it as well. Like you're saying, Christian Brown, you don't like to see his $25 million per year contract kicking in this season after a down one last year, and the Nuggets just got to be regretting that one. I was a fan of that contract when it signed, but I should have thought about it more. Like Jokic can just make anybody look good. It would probably be the easiest job in the NBA, running the court and shooting wide open threes, playing alongside
Spencer
Nikola.
looks great.
Exactly.
Right now.
Peyton Watson has looked great as that guy as well. You could probably get that kind of a player for less than $25 million. But the Nuggets, I imagine, will continue to be a team that looks to slice off some contract totals as the trade deadline approaches, but at least they brought back Spencer Jones. Like, they couldn't let another guy just leave for nothing. Tim Hardaway Jr., already gone. Jonas Valanciunas, already gone. They couldn't lose another guy.
Yeah, when you said the Peyton Watson in comparison to the Cam Johnson and Christian Brown, over $20 million, all those three could be paid in that same ballpark. There is going to be the split screens going around if all those three guys are back, of Peyton, Cam Johnson, and Christian Brown having to produce at that number. They need it because, as you said, those two guys that you mentioned in Tim Hardaway and Jonas Valanciunas, that was a good bench last year, which made the Jokic, non-Jokic minutes, I should say, palatable for the first time in a long time. They're still losing by 3 points, but they used to be losing by 10, 15 per 100 possessions. So that was a really good bench. Been replaced by guys like Marvin Bagley. He's taken the Jonas Valanciunas minutes. We got an Alpha Diallo coming from Europe. So in the end, good for Spencer Jones overall. Yeah. He said on LinkedIn multiple months ago, I think it was in February, he said, I had a contract that I could have signed with the Denver Nuggets, multiple years, guaranteed money, but it wasn't for a lot. He bet on himself, and it worked out for him. He's got to come on the show to tell us about it. Next transaction, a former Denver Nugget here, KCP, has agreed to a buyout from the Memphis Grizzlies and will sign at some point here a one-year deal with the 76ers, because that's what he's getting bought out for here, Trey. What do you think?
It looks like the Sixers are trying to ditch one guy, clear a roster spot for KCP. Look, KCP's probably washed. He's going to be 34 next season. He shot 33% from three over the last couple of seasons, away from Nikola Jokic. But he's got 2 titles. One of them was with LeBron. This is a good way to fill out their bench. You look at the Sixers last year, Kyle Lowry played 118 minutes last season. That's probably KCP's role. A veteran bench guard who's a break in case of emergency type player. So I got no real problems with this for Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's a solid one. Another Rich Paul client.
Clutcher. Yep.
Yeah, another clutcher. As you said, old. It seems like this was a good move by the Denver Nuggets when it happened. I'm sure why you backed the Christian Brown signing. They said, all right, KCP, you can go get a ton of money from Orlando. We'll go give that ton of money to a young guy in Christian Brown as a replacement for you. And it worked out okay. But if you're playing him way less like the 76ers will, I'm sure you'll get some good minutes out of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, because he did have some good minutes last year. It wasn't a ton of them, but...
Do you think people know that he was a Grizzly last year?
Nah. I mean, he was part of the Desmond Bane trade from Orlando. No. Do a lot. I think we could probably name like 5 guys that people don't know were from the Memphis Grizzlies. Like Olivier Maxence Prosper.
Okay. Yes, you're probably right about that one. Do people know that Ty Jerome played like 28 games for the Grizzlies last year or whatever he ended up playing? He's pretty solid.
Yeah, he's solid.
There were some guys on that team.
Yeah, they'll be back, I think. Another guy that's back, Mario Hezonja. He's coming back. How many times have we said Mario Hezonja over the last couple of weeks?
We may have said Mario Hezonja's name more often during these couple of weeks than we did during his first 5 years that he actually played in the NBA.
Interesting.
Didn't really establish himself much except for the LeBron James block. That's the only thing people remember about Mario Hezonja. I would also include that he looks a lot like one of the villains from the movie Old School. One of the guys that eats those... spiked eclairs, if you will. But I love it when someone comes back to the NBA. We saw it with Gershon Yabusele recently.
Yes.
Dante Exum did the same sort of thing, but this is got to be a bummer for Cavs fans.
Yeah, it's coming to Cleveland.
They wanted LeBron, and they got Mario Hezonja. They're similar sizes. So to me, it's like Christmas. You come downstairs, you're like, wow, That looks like a PlayStation 5. And you open it and it's a chemistry set. The boxes are about the same, but what's inside isn't quite equal. So yeah, apparently Mario Hezonja won the Spanish League MVP last year with Real Madrid. The last three are Hezonja, Marcelo Huertas, and Facundo Campazzo. So there's some talent in the ACB, and I think he's got a chance to play some minutes for the Cavs. He'll be in the wing mix with Tyson, Max Strus, and maybe he could be like a backup 4 for Evan Mobley. I don't really know much about Mario Hezonja's game this year, but I'm looking forward to seeing him come back.
Mario Hezonja, a super athletic guy. If you watch any of the clips from his run in Spain, it's a lot of dunks, a lot of alley-oops.
No way.
Yeah, that's what he does. I think they're hoping he can be sort of a Simone Fontecchio a couple of years ago, where he can fire away from three. I know Fontecchio isn't as athletic as Mario Hezonja was, or is, I should say. Because the funny thing about Mario Hezonja, he's 31. He's not.
No, he's not. He was older than I thought, too.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's been out of the league for a while now. Last played for the Blazers in 2020.
Right. They gave him a shot. And yeah, I say Fontecchio, that's the hope, because Fontecchio's a better three-point shooter. But just somebody who can fire away and who can be a closer to a PS5. All I had, what I flash back to, or what I think of, is Owen Wilson in Wedding Crashers, where he's being quizzed by Rachel Adams, and he's sitting at the gift table, and she says, "What's this? What's that? What's this?" And he's able to just rifle off each
Great scene.
Yeah. Each gift is so good, and so is that movie, man. It was on Saturday at my house. So
Wedding Crashers. I haven't watched it for a while.
Yeah, it was solid. As solid as Mario Hezonja.
All right,
That's super
that's
long.
a ridiculous take. I think Wedding Crashers is better than Mario Hezonja. No offense. No offense at all.
Lock it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta agree. It's super long. I will say.
Super long, huh?
Yeah, it's surprising. Here's a hot take. Wedding Crashers is way longer than Odyssey. It's not, but it feels that way.
Come on.
It feels that way. Odyssey, every moment, fantastic. Wedding Crashers, we don't need to see why Owen Wilson is crying again. I mean, we don't need it. It was 2 hours.
1 hour, 59 minutes. That's longer than I would have thought. I would
Yeah.
have guessed like 1:38. Who knows?
Yeah, it should have been 90 minutes.
Some
But
great
anyway,
moments,
it was
though.
great.
Great movie.
Oh,
Great movie.
so good. So good. Erroneous. All right. Let's get to something here where Trey has got to tell us here in late July.
It's time. It's time for the way too early power rankings presented by our friends at Ledger. If you got crypto, lock in and keep it safe with Ledger. I'll be honest with you, Tass. I had a Lee Ellis moment here. Do I go 5-1 or 1-5?
I've been there.
Right?
I've been there with you.
Power rankings, I feel like I want to see one first. So we're going to start with one.
Okay.
How crazy is that? Starting with one on our way too early power rankings. Number one for me, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Ooh, surprising.
Them and the San Antonio Spurs, as of this morning, are tied for favorites on FanDuel at plus 260. You look at the Thunder, 64-18 last season, the best record in the league. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, back-to-back MVP. They lost Game 7 of the conference finals with no J-Dub, no AJ Mitchell, and Chet Holmgren. He was out there, but was he? They lost Lou Dort from the starting lineup. He'll be replaced by either AJ Mitchell or Cason Wallace. They lost Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe from their rotation. Going to be replacing those guys with rookies in Adai Mara, Bennett Sturts. I guess Topic maybe gets a little bit more playing time. Thomas Sorber. He was their first-round draft pick last year. Missed the entire season with injury. Seems like a forgotten man. I don't know if he plays, but they got some young players who are going to be taking the place of guys in Wiggins, Joe, and Dort who have been around for a while. So things have changed for the Thunder, but they were so close to making it to back-to-back finals. If they have a number two creator, whether it be J-Dub or AJ Mitchell, do they take down the Spurs in that series? Maybe. But that's in the past. I think for me, the Thunder come into this season as the favorites.
Way to respect a team that wasn't able to get to the NBA Finals. You know, like you want to start with the number one here in the power rankings. I was surprised you didn't start with the number one New York Knickerbockers. But you're totally right. They could have got there. They want to get bigger after losing Lou Dort. And so Adai Mara's Summer League, not super impressive.
No.
It is just Summer League. But at the same time, what are they going to play on their wing instead of Lou Dort? You brought up all those names. I imagine they're going to be smaller just because of who they are, whether it's Cason Wallace or whether it's AJ Mitchell. I am looking forward to seeing what Chet Holmgren does become after that disappointing playoff series. Is there a corner he can turn to somehow get there? Because they've got the talent. I examine all those guys and Cason Wallace and AJ Mitchell. But if Chet's awesome, then yeah, they're easily the number one team. So we'll see. We'll see what he can become because he did play.
Chet looks pretty good against everybody that's not Wemby.
Yeah, that's true.
Of course, you do have to go through Wemby. So complicated, but maybe he's on a walkabout right now. I see he's been wearing a headband, and it works for him. Looks pretty good. I thought.
Walkabout.
Yeah. Number 2 in my way too early power rankings is the Knicks.
Oh.
The New York Knicks, they're third in FanDuel odds at plus 900 behind the Thunder and the Spurs. Knicks, obviously, the defending NBA champions, the defending Cup champions, 53-29 in the regular season, 16-3, dominated the postseason. They swapped Mitchell Robinson for Andre Drummond. Minor downgrade, I would have to think.
Yeah.
And they lost Ariel Huckin' and Chuckin' Chuck Porty. He's a Philadelphia 76ers now. But I think the Knicks are still the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. They're bringing back their starting 5 for what will be the 3rd season, and they really clicked, obviously, in the playoffs, going down 2-1 to the Hawks and then running off a 14-1 record with mostly blowouts, except for when they had to come back from 29 down against the Spurs there in the finals. So the Knicks at number 2 for me.
Much deserved, even though, the East is tougher. It feels tougher just because of each series is not going to be easy. They're not going to be able to go through a Philadelphia 76ers in round 2. But again, maybe they're going through the Cavs with a banged up Embiid, but still, I mean, it's a stronger around an injured Joel Embiid no matter what. So I'm surprised you threw him down to the 2 spot, but this is good rankings.
You would have had Knicks number 1?
Well, maybe because I'm a recency bias person, but no, if I thought
champs, man.
If I did think it through, and I was being. Was examining what we're going to look at in the regular season, I think OKC will have the best record again. So, yeah, I probably would have gotten to OKC, but this is you ranking everybody 1 through 30. Are we going through 30 teams? Oh, no.
We're going to 32. I included the expansion teams. No, at number 3, it's the San Antonio Spurs, tied with the Thunder on FanDuel as favorites at plus 260. Definitely thought about them at number 2, but they lost to the Knicks in the finals, so I simply couldn't do it. But 62-20 last season for the Spurs. They beat the Trailblazers, the Timberwolves, and the Thunder on the way to losing in the finals to the Knicks. They're bringing back basically everybody and have upgraded the Lindy Waters spot to the Tobias Harris spot. When you think of it that way, the Tobias Harris signing looks pretty good.
Totally. Absolutely. The fact that they were leading the NBA Finals for 72% of the minutes, but still lost 4-1. Easily top 3, and Wemby, I'm not sure I'm not sure what he's doing this summer. Have you seen anything in particular of him in a headband or something in that?
He was at the World Cup final.
Okay.
That's the last thing I remember from Wemby. We haven't seen any of his globe-trotting exploits yet, though.
Oh, he's locked in. He's locked in this summer.
Or maybe we'll hear less about it. I don't know. He's also the 2K27 cover guy.
He is.
So he's out there still. And he is the favorite for MVP on FanDuel, plus 200, right ahead of SGA and Jokic for MVP odds.
Okay.
He's got a really good MVP chance.
Absolutely. All right. That's a good one at 3.
At number 4, I got the Philadelphia 76ers. They're 4th in FanDuel odds, plus 900. Went 45-37 last season. They beat the Celtics in the first round, got swept by the Knicks in the second round, and obviously had a very active offseason. Paul George and Andre Drummond out. LeBron James, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Simons, Dean Wade, and LeBaron Philon all in. Their 3 biggest questions are, can they build chemistry pretty much instantly. Can they defend at a championship level? And most important, can Joel Embiid stay healthy in the playoffs? He is the skeleton key to this team. If he's healthy, they got a chance.
What about Dean Wayne?
Dean Wayne was a great guitarist back in the day. Dean Wayne, son of John Wayne, perhaps. And then Dean Wayne, of course, the Philadelphia 76ers seventh man. It's a great spot for him.
Yeah, that's exact. I was thinking of John Wayne too. They also have to, speaking of Johns, they have to release a Janai Broom. It feels like they're going to release him to bring in KCP. That's just some information.
Yeah, or they might dump him, but yes.
Yes, one of the two. Janai hasn't made it as an undersized big through his first season. Yeah.
So you were our first round draft pick, and we would rather have KCP.
But I totally,
don't blame him.
Totally agree with you, Philadelphia being the second in terms of the Eastern Conference teams. And yeah, they could legitimately could make an NBA final. So I agree that they got to be up there. They got to be up there.
All right, number 5 I thought was pretty tough. I thought top 4 was pretty easy. Those are the top 4 in FanDuel odds as well. I went Thunder, Knicks, Spurs, and 76ers. They feel like the 4 best teams to me, and then there are a lot of choices for 5th best team. I thought about the Raptors, but Kawhi is kind of a double question mark for me right now from the trade standpoint, and then, of course, the health standpoint, just like Embiid. I thought about the Celtics. I think they'll still be good in the regular season, but I don't think they have enough to win in the playoffs. Thought about the Pistons. 60 wins was best in the East last year. They still got the Jalen Duren thing lingering over the top. They brought in John Collins to replace Tobias Harris. Should still be a good Eastern Conference regular season team. And I thought about the Timberwolves, but I would like to see what Ant and LaMelo look together first. This is such a zag sort of team from what they've been previously. I think the Cavs get a mention as well. But ultimately, I settled on the Denver Nuggets at number 5.
Wow.
I know. 7th in FanDuel odds, plus 2,200. They went 54-28 last season. They lost in the first round of the playoffs after a bad series for Jokic, a down series for Murray as well. They had a tough offseason, losing Tim Hardaway Jr. and Jonas Valanciunas. So far, they've only brought in Marvin Bagley to replace either of those guys. We're not sure what's going to happen with Peyton Watson, but they still got Nikola Jokic. He's finished top 2 in MVP voting the last 6 seasons, including second last year. They still got an awesome starting lineup. Murray, Brown, Johnson, Gordon, and Jokic. They're very shallow. And to me, I put them at 5th. But when I was doing this, I was like, whoa, I kind of only think 4 teams will win the championship this year. Because I don't think it's going to be Denver. But they got a guy who's at least a top 3 player in the league and an awesome top 5. So they round out 5th for me.
I'm Mr. Optimistic, but even I struggle to see the Nuggets being able to recover to what they were a few years ago, because as good as those names are in the top 5, they weren't that good last year. That being said, you're right. It's Jokic. Maybe he does have a bounce back year. The bench is a question. It was Tim Hardaway's best career year, and you lose him, and the replacement just really isn't all there. Marvin Bagley replacing Jonas Valanciunas, and hopefully seeing Bagley, if you're going to try and emulate him to anything, you could say, oh, Tim Hardaway got better here in his 30s. Bagley older now, and this is going to be year number 9 for him. Feels forever.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a long time ago that he was sitting on our set with the starters. That was his rookie year. Wow, that was a long time ago, wearing that eye patch. But what about the Hardaway outside shooting on the bench, and then to hopefully be able to have your starting lineup perform? I mean, your Cams and your Christians and your Aarons, those 3 guys. I don't know. I'm not sure. On paper, awesome, but we'll see if Peyton Watson can kind of help those 5 guys out, because Peyton Watson was really good when he was out there. So we'll see if he comes back. 5th one is a tough one.
Is there another team you would make a case for at number 5?
I would stay East, and I would stay in the little clump of the Raptors, Celtics. I got some belief in the Heat. I know to get all the way there, it's a reach, but it's Giannis Antetokounmpo being Giannis Antetokounmpo again. He will have a bounce back. He's gone on Greek media saying, I was in my comfort zone in Milwaukee. This is new for me. This is good. This is good. And he looks like he could be an MVP candidate again. And why couldn't he?
Yeah.
That 3-point shot, man, it looks good. This guy out there shooting threes for the first time in his career. I know feels weird because Giannis was never been that kind of guy. But I don't know. I buy the Davion Mitchell, Andrew Wiggins defense with him and Bam, with them and Bam. That's too much to handle, man, for a lot of teams. So they're going to be really good in the regular season, but the playoffs that's a totally different beast.
Yeah, I think when we get to, I don't know, October or wherever, when we're doing our tier list, we'll probably have these top 4 in our championship contenders. And then the second tier of like conference finals and outside chance at making the finals, I think is going to be a huge tier because it will be teams like the Nuggets, Raptors, Celtics, Pistons, Timberwolves, Cavs. I think you would probably throw in the Pacers. It's just hard to know what they're going to look like with Tyrese Halliburton coming back from an injury, swapping in Ivica Zubac for Miles Turner from their finals team. That's just a team we got to see before we're able to know how to rank them. The Rockets, they should be better with Fred VanVleet coming back this season.
Yeah.
And look, Luka and Austin Reeves can score a ton of points. Mm-hmm. Walker Kessler, maybe he'll be a great defender for this Lakers team, and maybe they catch some teams by surprise, or at least are a tough team in the regular season. So I think we're going to have a massive second tier, is what I'm saying when it comes down to it. But
Yeah.
on my way too early power rankings presented by our friends at Ledger, I'm going number 1, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Number 2, the New York Knicks. Number 3, the San Antonio Spurs. Number 4, the Philadelphia 76ers. And number 5, the Denver Nuggets. If you've got crypto, lock in and keep it safe with Ledger.
Very nice. Yeah, the Detroit is an interesting one. How we're just saying, they don't look that good. If Jalen Duren comes back, I mean, Orlando should be way better. Yeah, the East
New coach alert.
East is tough. All right, that's it for us. Fun power rankings there, Trey. We'll be back on Wednesday. Jay Skeets will be back from his trip. What are we going to cover on Wednesday? We have not confirmed that. We don't know.
We don't know. We got no idea what we're doing on Wednesday. Send us some questions. I mean, we'll hit the beach at least some point again.
At some point.
During this season. You think Skeets went to Croatia? You think he's going to bring back a Mario Hezonja jersey?
Yeah, great question.
Hang it here in the factory?
Really good call.
Probably not.
What kind of box is he going to put that in? I'm already thinking of it as a gift. He'll surprise us and pull it out. What is that? Is it a jersey?
Would you rather get a chemistry set or a Mario Hezonja jersey for a gift?
Or what?
Tough call.
What? I think it depends what jersey. We're going Croatia. We're going a Spanish team. We're going Knicks, Blazers, Magic, or Caps.
I think I would want the Blazers jersey, Hezonja jersey. I guess I don't know, or a Real Madrid one.
I have a LeBron James Cavs jersey I've never worn. I'll trade it to Skeets for a Mario Hezonja Cavs jersey, or the Spanish.
Cool. 2 guys who are now forever tied in my mind, LeBron and Mario Hezonja.
Yeah, that is hilarious. AJ Lawson going to play in Spain, by the way. Yeah, he's sort of
Former
announced
Raptor?
from
Is
the
that right?
Raptors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a 905er when we called the game.
Yeah.
Right? Yep.
Yeah. Did he? Oh, yeah.
I think he was there, yeah.
Okay, cool stuff.
Cool.
All right, we'll be back on Wednesday, but for now, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, Mario Hezonja was a number 5 pick. Easy to forget that. 2015.
That was a long time ago. We were young boys, and so was Mario.
The Young Boys.
Embrace the day.